What the fuck's going on?
Yep, that's fair. We should just keep recording all of this, and then we'll leave it to Dan and Carrie to be like, Will and Fred are such idiots. In fact, that's what's going to be in the trailer. It'll be Carrie and Dan saying, Will and Fred are such idiots.
Or Carrie just weeping over like a bottle of bourbon trying to edit this.
Yep.
Right. Shall we go again?
Let's do that.
Hello and welcome. I am absolutely happy and at the same time delighted to be joined by Mr. Fred. Yes, that's very right. The very same Fred that I've been ragging on for God, how many months has it been?
Since the last PAX West.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And since you started egregious lies about me and tea consumption. So, under the advisement of Soraya, we have decided to take our rivalry online. No more shadow games, no more snide comments and say you're being hunted. No, we're going head to head. Will versus Fred. Oh, did you see what I did there?
Yeah, but the snide comments are still going to keep coming.
And so probably the lies, milking green tea. How could you tell people that?
I didn't.
So, I say let's ready up and you can tell the good folks who you are.
Sure there. Hey, my name's Fred One. I was the narrative designer and what we called the continuity editor for a tabletop CCG and RPG called Legend of the Five Rings for about 15 years. That game has recently been sold from its original publisher to Fantasy Flight Games and will be relaunched, I believe, at Gen Con. Since that time, I have been doing some freelance narrative design and consulting work. By the time this episode airs, I can probably talk about what it is. But at the time of recording, I probably can't. So at the moment, I just have to be needlessly cryptic. And you might also have seen me I was on one episode of Extra Credits with James and Cade a year or two ago. And you might have also seen me at either PAX West or MagFest.
All right, let's kick this fight off.
Okay. So it says you have clicked ready, so I'm going to hit start.
Boosh.
So I guess we should introduce the audience to what game we're playing. This is XCOM 2.
This is XCOM 2's multiplayer.
Yes, it is multiplayer, which very few people actually play because most people get straight into the core story campaign.
I hear that. Personally, I've always, at least with the last two kind of like new XCOM games, I start off with an Iron Man campaign, and that is how I've been playing these, like from the go.
Yes. I actually don't play Iron Man, but I also don't play with mods.
Was that a subtle jab at my love of modding?
No, it was a blatant jab at your love of modding. Just for everyone's information, Will and I both agreed to have not played the PvP mode at all in prep for this episode. So neither of us actually has played this format. For those of you who have played this format or eventually decide to play this format because of watching our shenanigans, we set this to a 10,000 point limit.
Yep.
Apparently in the PvP mode, all of your units are purchased out of a point total.
Very Warhammer-esque.
Yep. And we have also set this to the map tile set of slums.
So, Fred, if you want to start throwing your moves around...
Oh, I'm doing that while I talk.
Are you better? Freaking better. I've kind of... One of the things why I really, really wanted to do a video with you, dude, is because I've told some of your best stories kind of half-heartedly throughout, like, some of the So You're Being Hunted, because usually I'll start trying to explain, like, one of my favourite stories is still the examples of how Legend of the Five Rings did this wonderful, evolving narrative.
Sure.
For those that don't know, one of the prizes that you'd get from playing Legends of the Five Rings competitively is not just a bit of cash or a tiny trophy. No. You'd be able to influence the actual world of the game, and those changes would be reflected in future sets. And that's pretty bloody cool.
Well, I mean, like, the future sets was nice. One of the problems with that is, for any card game, digital or tabletop, there's development time. And that can be quite long, right?
Oh, I hear you doing things.
Pardon?
I hear you doing things in the background.
Of course. But the fact that you don't know what they are is half the fun, right? But what we did that was kind of neat was we also did weekly short stories. and we would often first integrate the content of, say, a story prize or whatever directly into those short stories. So if a character died, for example, as a result of a tournament, we would normally write that into the ongoing narrative, and often we would actually credit the player or the event which resulted in that particular outcome. Okay. And then later on, when the appropriate set of the game came out, there would be either flavor text references, specific cards made in reference to that, and so on. Just to throw out one example that was straight kind of mechanical design that I was involved with. Yeah. We did a short story where, and L5R is set in mythic samurai setting, right?
It was kind of like archetypal samurai meets kind of like Romance in the Five Kingdoms.
Only there is a more overt magic element as well. But we had one story where a character whose name is Shinjo Shono, he's leading his army to go to a certain battle. Yeah. And he gets intercepted by another army. And the opposing general, in the traditional accepted way in the setting, challenges him to a duel, right? Okay. And he's thinking, well, my army is superior. We can beat theirs. And I need to get to this other battle because that's my duty. And honor dictates that I accept this challenge. But if I accept this challenge, I'm going to lose and die, and my goal will not be accomplished. So while the enemy is challenging him, he shoots him. He pulls out his bow and shoots him. And this is flagrantly a violation of the setting's norms, right? But before anyone else on the other side can respond, because his own army would have its morale broken if they had realized the magnitude of what he had done. So in that moment of confusion and hesitation that results, because everyone's like, oh my goodness, he just, did he do what we think he did? He orders a charge. And his army ends up winning that battle. Now that was just straight narrative content, right?
You took but what we did, spiny buggers.
Oh.
You bastard.
Chrysalids are friendly. They just want hugs. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Spiny, needly, deadly hugs. Christ alive.
No,
it's fine, Fred. It's fine.
In a later set was we actually produced a version of Shono who had the ability of... There's a mechanic in the game where you can challenge people to duels. Shono had an ability where if he was challenged to a duel, he would cause some dishonor on his owner, his controller, and then kill the challenger.
Well, that works.
Yeah, and that was the sort of thing we did to tie the narrative and mechanical elements of L5R together. And that was a lot of fun. And you don't really see that in very many games at all.
True. And I mean, I'm personally a massive fan of Magic the Gathering. And I love what they're doing, story-wise at the moment. How, with the Oath Watch, it feels like the sets aren't these, they aren't quite as disconnected as they used to be.
Right.
And, seeing Emrakul pop up, not in the Zendikar set, but in the next set with the place with the werewolves and things, and I've completely forgotten their name.
Is that Innistrad you're talking about?
It is Innistrad.
Right. It's been a while since I've kept up because there are so many great games out there and I only have so much time. But I do I like narrative generally, right? And when people do things to elevate their narrative game, I'm always going to approve. And I feel bad that poor Chrysalid has... that Chrysalid's not going to live very long.
I don't know what you could possibly mean.
Poor thing.
Death above.
It just wanted friends.
Well, it's going to get lots and lots of teeny tiny high velocity friends.
But actually, the Chrysalid is not a lot of points. So losing the Chrysalid does not hurt anywhere as much as losing one of the XCOM agents would hurt.
What the bloody hell?
Well, you had shields. It doesn't matter.
Oh, you did not just. Where did that come from? Right. Dear Fred, that's a nice building you have there.
Yeah, I know, right? Like one of the big challenges is higher ground is good. Falling to your death is not so good. Did you fail to
Fred, I haven't even started.
I don't know.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, don't be sorry. This is fun.
Oh God, I just did the... Oh, this guy's dead. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine, human. Carry on your business.
That means you have a shield bearer somewhere. So just for the audience, both of us have played through the campaign to the end. We just haven't played PvP before.
Yeah.
And if you've played the game, there's only one unit that I'm aware of that can create shields. So I'm assuming he has a shield bearer somewhere in the back somewhere to add the extra hit points to his guys. Yeah, but you know what? It's a chrysalid. It knew the risks.
Your face knew the risks when I played
Although
thing
being
that I did.
disoriented is a really bad status buff on a melee-only unit. Or status debuff.
Well, it just hopefully means that chrysalid spends the rest of the time bumping into walls and kind of,
Yeah,
desperate.
that's very likely.
It's just going to start looking at a lot of it.
Oh, you had an Overwatcher. That's not good. Oh. But it's Advent, so of course he's going to miss.
Of course. I like the idea that disorientation causes units not only to be confused, but also to check their Facebook messages more than once and be like, oh yeah, I already looked at that.
Oh, wow, that would be a fate worse than death. Okay, what is the risk here?
I love the idea of, JRPG mechanics on social media. Because I'm sad like that. Note to self, continue burning down that building.
I really like the music for this game.
It's really good. I've actually turned it down so I can hear you better. I should overlay it.
You still can. My favorite track from this is still when you're prepping for a mission.
Oh God, yeah.
I think it's called Ready for Battle. It's such a great track.
So I've absolutely loved these last two XCOM games. I actually haven't played the Bureau, which was that title that was going to be a first-person shooter.
Yeah, the reviews were lukewarm.
Hmm.
I haven't played it myself, so this is just based on reviews.
But these last two XCOM games, I've just been in love with.
Yeah, right. But the Bureau was also by, I believe, I don't think it was by Firaxis. I think it was by a different studio.
Okay.
That I'm not sure about that.
How many bloody robots did you take?
Sir, you are being hunted.
You jerk. The other thing that I'm utterly furious about was you telling people that I put milk in green tea.
I didn't tell anyone that. See, here's the thing, right? Everyone believes Carrie is a nice one, so that she would never, ever, ever start something like this. But I did not say anything along those lines.
I think I'm bleeding.
You're a 10th level jerk.
Seriously, I didn't.
You set my you set my diner on fire. You are stealing my idea entirely.
No, actually, I'm executing it properly.
Hurtful words. Well, we'll see.
No, did it hurt as much as falling to your death did?
Note to self. Get more magnets. No, it's fine, Fred. It's fine. Because the buildings continue to burn, turn-wise.
Yeah.
So.
And fire damage in this game is brutal. If you get lit on fire, you are not doing very much for a while.
It's not a good time.
Now, where can I put this? Well, Chrysalid knew the risks. Oh, you hit too. Oh, you have a psychic agent? Oh, that's not good.
I'm using the powers of my mind. I can hear them moving in the distance, but I can't see.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which shot to take first. Okay, let's play the odds. Oh, well, played the odds and the odds won.
That's where your guy was.
Yeah, I had an 89 to hit that, and she missed because XCOM.
XCOM gonna give it to you.
That's XCOM.
Warp warp.
But I mean, the entire game is about risk management, and while it sucks to miss that shot, it is par for the course. But yeah, what I think they did really well with XCOM in the main game is they used the change in the setting to justify the mechanics changes between the first two games.
Okay.
Like, the turn timer is a big deal in XCOM 2, right? Like, mechanically, you almost always have to go forward in the regular game. And I think that makes for a very active experience in a way that's better than XCOM 1 is. But the justification for that is that you're a rebel group, right? You're trying to, you have to leave because.
No, I hear that. It's kind of you are starting on such a you're starting on such a back foot with XCOM 2, and I really do like that.
But that means the turn timer has a narrative justification. Like, a lot of players still don't like it, but it at least it makes sense within the setting. See what I mean by that's XCOM?
You get what you pay for.
Like, you wouldn't think that someone at that range would miss against a disoriented chrysalid. But I really appreciate the incremental tweaks to the engine that they made when going from the first to the second game. Like, the first game had a lot of skills that no one used, and while there are certain builds that are better in the second game, you don't quite reach the point of no one uses certain skills.
Very true.
Although there are a few that are much less popular. That poor chrysalid.
In the rear with the gear.
Actually, my favorite quote in the entire game is for the ranger when they turn on run-in gun.
Also, Fred.
Yep, that's gonna hurt.
Eyes in the sky.
Yeah.
How is he still alive?
Nope, the falling damage is propped separately.
Oh, damn.
The ranger says moving at the speed of death. Which and because you have to turn on run-in gun before you actually take your action, it's always like moving at the speed of death, and then you almost invariably do a full move followed by shooting at point blank range from a flank. It looks and feels great.
Oh man, that's annoying. The cephalopods stuck around flaming, so he can't move. So that's gonna be fun.
Oh, if he's on fire, he probably is gonna just die.
No, it's just the tiles around him are broken, so he can't leap out. There we go. Fell on the bar. It's fine.
Yeah, because like when characters that are on fire take a lot of damage very fast, and they lose the use of special abilities, and they have an accuracy penalty, and very rapidly you're like, this is not a winning proposition. On the other hand, I think my board state is not a winning proposition too, so
I see your people. I see them hiding. God, your sniper! I hit everything except the one bloody tile she was standing on.
Yeah, I was really amused. I thought it was intentional on your part. Wow, I missed an 80% like stun lens. This is not good for my guys.
Advent, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, and apparently I paid too much.
You paid 100 credits, far too much. Oh man, but yeah, the I see what you got there. The post-PAX life has been it's been stressful, but it was wonderful to see everyone. I actually managed to record footage of the elusive James Portnow at the booth. I have a photo proving he was there.
I'm with Lily on this. I don't believe that unless you have a face shot that was actually James. It's
this kind of, it's this kind of hateful
Okay, I'm in that
disinformation.
photo, and I can actually verify totally that it actually was James. But, but in spite of that fact, no, it wasn't really James.
Come on, Fred, come at me! I see you. I can hear you weighing the numbers up in your head. Well, let me tell you, a proper tea drinker would already know what they were going to do. I've actually run out of tea, and I don't want to stop to go make some, so I'm now sad. Oh, no, come on.
Oh yes, I have death from above, so I get to move. That's good, because I need to reload. I
wish I'd blown up more of your building.
I'm thinking you wish that you blew up the one square she was standing on.
I hit you with a missile and a grenade. How did you know?
No, you hit the building with a missile and a grenade.
I say again, No, it's fine, Fred. It's fine. Everything's fine. No. You murdered my Advent trooper.
Advent agent. It's not like you actually cared about their lives.
Are they even living things? I can't remember.
Yes, they're alive. Well, until they meet XCOM.
It makes you wonder how Advent managed to take over the world.
Yeah, plot-wise, they're not putting their best at you, it feels like. It feels like Advent is being very stingy with resources, in a way that they really shouldn't be. But, other than that...
I'm just offended that you keep picking on heavy weapons, Dan.
Well, by tradition on these videos, you're supposed to be Danless.
We're not meant to be Danless, it's just what bloody happens.
I also think you're going to win because you still have a psychic agent. But in the meantime, I have an Advent agent standing right next to your squad that is probably going to die.
There's death, and then there's...
You're gonna mind? He's not even worth mind controlling.
Yeah, he is. He can run like a speedy bugger. Did that fail? I don't understand.
I don't believe that. Oh, see, that's XCOM. The RNG will get you every time.
This is why I believe in RNGesus.
And RNGesus has clearly forsaken you.
I know you can make the shot. There we go. Gear.
Yeah, but it's a mech. Who cares? And that was your last grenade. Oh wait, you're king heavy weapon? You probably have one more grenade. But yeah, that was your only rocket.
Didn't get the sniper behind it though.
How is it still alive?
I don't know. Just die already!
Oh right, you have what's the skill called? Whatever the skill is called that lets you fire a heavy weapon and then take an action afterwards.
I would call it very useful.
Yeah. There's a name for the skill in the game that I forget. Well, there goes my Lancer.
Some Advent on Advent action.
This is looking very bad for me.
Oh. Come on, you can make it. Eat robot fire. Which is slightly better than regular fire.
Yep. The camera didn't actually let me see the shot.
Just.
This is bad for me. What can I do?
It's fine. Everything's fine, Fred. I hear you thinking. I hear you questioning. But let me tell you, the British Empire... the British Empire has dealt with this before. Let me tell you, we win. And then we politely give it back later on, but it's fine. Wow, not even a pithy return on that one. I know I've...
No, I'm busy thinking about what I can do to try to salvage this horrible board state.
Well, I tell you what, look, just come to the diner. I've got Advent coffee on the go. We'll talk it through. Just walk out into the open, and then we'll discuss it like clear-headed individuals. Playing this old chestnut.
I actually think this would be fun to do as a mini tournament or whatever. I haven't sat down and analyzed which units are really worth their point cost and so on, but It's certainly fun.
That seems more trouble than it might be worth.
Yeah. Well, it was something that was definitely thrown onto the game. But let's see.
Well, it's when you're making a game like this. Well, I believe there's fun to be had in the multiplayer elements. What you don't want to do is detract from the single player, the thing that people come to.
I agree. And the core proposition of XCOM 2 was definitely the straight up campaign.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
And I really like the idea of being kind of like this, of going from like running this international task force with all the resources to becoming this guerrilla warfare unit desperately trying to survive.
Well, and retake Earth.
I mean, it had that 4x problem that once you get to a certain... Oh, you're not even going to come at me now, bro. I just said bro unironically, and that was bad. I genuinely feel bad. All right. I send one of my Dans forward. Oh yeah, I named all of my teammates Dan. Even the robot's called Dan. Like you said, I'm usually Danless.
But that also means all of these Dans, the death of all of these Dans is on you.
Okay, the death of some Dans. Also, none of them look like Dan.
Well, what we need then is to recruit more Dans so that we have one that matches. The line of sight is very strange in this game. Like, I can't... Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
Yep.
I was like, how come something terrible is happening and I can't see what? Oh, I see.
Yep. Just thought I'd open up a nice little hole in that. I guess it was like an apartment complex or something.
This is an advanced version of urban renewal.
Break it down. So far I feel that we've succeeded in, hurling insults at each other along with bullets. I've succeeded about as well as I always do in story. Are you just doing the Overwatch and hide?
I am definitely trying to figure out how I can get at a psychic agent without having my guys mind controlled or silenced or soul fired or whatever else.
Well.
Plus, I figure you're doing the same.
Who's there? It's Robo. It's Robo Dan.
Yeah. You've also got a larger squad up right now, so I have to figure out what I can do to even this up.
Dan Benson Phillips running up the wall there.
Although, one thing I noticed when we were making our teams that I didn't try, but I think I will if we do another round, is, like, for most of the classes, there are 2 builds you can choose from. And for the Ranger, one of the 2 that you can build, one of the 2 builds you can do for this mode is a Stealth Ranger.
Ooh, that could work.
Yeah, and I think that would just be fun and amusing.
Oh, that's where you are. That's where you are, you bugger. Well.
I also can't tell sometimes how you can get line of sight without having an Overwatch an Overwatch shot go off. It's very strange.
And for some reason, my psychic is actually floating rather high in the ground.
Yeah.
But
sadly,
okay.
Even now, the game has a few bugs.
But that's the thing. I'm more than happy to forgive a few soft bugs in an incredible game.
Bugs are deal breakers.
We're all thinking too hard now.
Well, actually, I'm switching to. I think I've lost this game, but I want to cause some casualties before I go.
Come at me. If my shield bearer survives this fight, then
the shield bearer is totally paid for himself.
Yeah, I was not expecting even slightly as useful as that. I see you sniping.
The math is not great for this shot, but if I don't take it, I lose. So that actually makes the decision a lot easier.
Well, RNGesus has definitely been on your side rather than mine, so.
Well, not for the first time.
How could you? You just killed Dan.
XCOM only takes the best, and that one was on your side.
Oh my god! You just killed a Dan. I thought I was meant to be the British villain of this, but what just...
Well, you're still the British villain. I'm the Canadian villain.
Does Canada even make villains?
No, we don't. Please hit.
Come on! That guy was about as useful as offensive wording.
That was your shield bearer. He was really useful.
And he did his job.
So if I count correctly, you should have 2 guys left, but one of them is your psi agent, and the other's your mech.
Also, hello. Knock knock, who's there? It's my robot.
This is going to come right down to the wire.
It's gonna come down to something.
Oh wait, that's not a psychic agent. That's something else. I must have miscounted. Oh no, it is a psychic agent. Okay.
Alright, come on. Come at me, Fred. As we play Sniper versus Walking Tank.
Let's see. How brave do I feel? Not very, but I don't have a choice.
But not unbrave enough to sniper Dan in the face. Shenanigans. Utter shenanigans. Come on, Fred.
One of the things that I thought they did quite well is like being able to control your camera angle.
I still find the way you use the middle scroll to move between the tiers can be a little bit disorientating.
Yeah. I actually don't use middle scroll very much. I instead... Oh, that was painful. Okay.
Did you give either of your guys psychic shields?
Good question.
All these answers and more in this week's episode.
You'll find out in a turn or two, I mean. It's not like you're not going to try.
I don't know what you could possibly mean. I just want to know how you're going to resolve the sniper mech world's most one-sided fist fight. What the fuck?
That's how.
Go fuck yourself with a spoon.
Thank you for asking.
I want you to find your least favourite kind of waterfowl. Oh, I'm not even going to finish that because that was going to get dark.
Why use a shotgun when you have a splinter cannon?
That was shenanigans on a level the likes of which I didn't think I would see in my lifetime. I can't do much, but I can murder her, and that'll make me feel better.
Yeah, if you get a crit, she'll die. I think.
No, because, you know...
It is Advent.
You are so full of shite.
I thought it was good, actually. I really did. Let's see, where is that mech? Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't realise RNGesus was entirely on your side.
No, actually, that particular weapon does not have a high spread of damage, the one that killed your psychic agent. It was one of the reasons I was relying on it, was my armor. It was the heavy weapon from the armor.
Ah, so you didn't go for the missile
I actually went for a heavy... I didn't go for a demo, I went for a heavy gunner.
Ah. See, I went for a demo to clear out cover.
I actually think demo is probably better in general.
Are you just rubbing it in?
I actually do think demo is generally going to be a better choice.
Take the goddamn shot, Fred! Don't
I have no ammo
like
on the other character. I was trying to see if I could get a grenade vault. Couldn't, so all she does is walk onto that and then reload. It's very unheroic. However... Well, hey, I got an achievement.
Hey, isn't that wonderful for you, Fred? Bastard. This isn't over. The tea fuel... Like, I thought this is where this was going to end. No more of this tea shenanigans, but you couldn't let it drop. So no, the tea rivalry continues.
I dropped your guys.
Well, for those of you that have stayed and watched, thank you very much for your attention. This was Will versus Fred. I've been Will, bitter and full of spite.
You realize if this doesn't get picked up, I'm going to have a 100% win ratio against it.
I will fight you. Right, say goodbye, Fred.
Have a good one, everybody.
Fucking bastard.